It is the 1-year anniversary since the decision in the Dobbs case. Now, this is the most significant case, obviously, on the life issue that we've seen in our lifetime because it was the case that overturned Roe versus Wade, said there was not a constitutional right to abortion. We're celebrating that victory, but also recognizing that we are in a 50-state battle. In fact, if you go to ACLJ.org, on our website, there is a map of the United States. And if you click on any state, it will tell you what we're doing in that state. It will tell you what the legislation is in that state. It'll tell you the nature of the fight that we're doing and what you can do to impact legislation to create a culture of life in the states. Because the elimination of Roe versus Wade, as recognizing a constitutional right under the Equal Protection and Due Process Clauses, which was flawed from the beginning, removed that club that the pro-abortion groups had of saying, well, you're interfering with the constitutional right.
If anything, there's more going on now than there ever has been.
The left on this, the abortion groups are unbelievably organized, and you know, they're spending the amount of money they're spending on these state initiatives is, CC, breathtaking in scope. Yes. They are really lined up for this. So our teams have to do the same thing.
Absolutely. And when we see these ballot initiatives, what the issue is there is they always make the language very tricky. And so you don't know whether a yes vote is for or a no vote is against. You really don't know. So you need to be educated on that.
This is how committed the Democrats are to a pro-abortion agenda.
As we approach the anniversary of the cataclysmic Dobbs decision, it's an honor to stand with my colleagues here today to say loud and clear, Democrats will never stop fighting to protect a woman's right to choose.
They are committed, okay? They're not only committed there, they're committed to shutting down the voice of pro-life protesters.
We even fight at the city council level, where when there are certain places where city councils will not let the pro-life message get out. And we've showed up and made sure that anybody who wants to speak a pro-life message and stand up for life is able to do that. So whether it's the Supreme Court of the United States or whether it's even just a city council meeting, we will make sure that the truth gets out there and that life is able to have a voice.
I was interested in your arguments why forbidding abortion does not discriminate against women.
Let me tell you what I told the Supreme Court in 1991 and 92. This is exactly the question that I was asked by the Chief Justice. I remember the question being asked. And what I said was this: it's not an activity that is aimed at women. It's the activity of abortion that men and women of good conscience were opposing. So it wasn't because they were women. It was because they were the taking of a human life. And the court, in a 6-3 decision, agreed with us on that. And same again in the Dobbs case. So again, it was the act of abortion itself. And there were women that were opposed to abortion that, of course, are not discriminating against themselves. So the left was trying to make this Equal Protection Clause argument that this is unequal treatment. And the reality is it was the activity of abortion, not the fact that they were women. True that only women can be pregnant, but it was the activity that was going to be engaged in by the abortionist that was the opposition, and the court agreed.
I encourage everyone who's listening, you have to be involved and engaged in what's going on in your state. And even in states, you know, we have states that literally abortions have been banned. I would encourage pro-lifers in those states not to give up the fight, because the fight's still going on. Maybe perhaps not in your state, but it is one that needs to be engaged in.
Cece said something during the break that I think is worthy of repeating here, and that is this attitude. There are states like Tennessee, Alabama, I could go through a list of them, probably 20 states, where abortion's not really an issue anymore on a statewide basis. But it is an issue for the rest of the country. And what we're trying to seek here is to protect the life of the unborn, no matter what state they live in.
That's right. It's still a United States issue. And even if it's not an issue in your state because Dobbs came down and then your state is very conservative and they are protecting life and not allowing abortion, you still need to be aware that this fight and battle is going on in other states, and try and be engaged and active as you were previous to Dobbs.
What the overturning of Roe versus Wade did is return it to the states. And what Cece said earlier, which I think has to be reiterated, is some of you live in pro-life states. A lot of you don't, because we have a lot of listeners in California, Oregon, and Washington. And there are things that can be done there as well. But this, if you're in a pro-life state, don't say, well, I'm in great shape in Tennessee while they're aborting, tens of thousands of children in California. That's the problem here, and that's why we've got to fight it on a 50-state basis.